that is actually connected to the first word in the spiritual realm, and also the Bible, but I will explain that later. And so ideas, they emanate in your head. So then you have an idea, and then you need to create an idea. So what I'm trying to talk about here is the process of creation. So there is a process for creation, and it all starts with an idea, and that's why the idea is the only thing that is actually created out of nowhere. It just emanates in our brain, and emanation is one of the spiritual worlds where things emanates. So the idea, when an idea comes, is actually delivered to several sources. But what really matters is not who has the idea, but who actually makes the idea into the material world. So there are two things to consider here. In the process of creation, we have the material world and we have the spiritual world. The material world is the world that we know, Earth and the universe. And then we have the spiritual world that actually, there are 6 spiritual worlds. So everything that is on the reality of the material world, every object, every situation, everything goes through the 6 worlds in order to be here. So, and the first world is the emanation. So the idea, it starts in the emanation world. And then in order to, whatever idea you have, you want to create a cell phone, it starts with an idea. Then it goes through the other 6 worlds in order to be in the material world. One of those, I don't remember the words specifically, but one of them is the world of planning, and one of them is the world of action. So when you have the idea, then you start planning, and then after planning, you start acting in order to create the process to whatever you want to create, the cell phone. Yeah, you need to do the coding and the materials and the assembling, etc., etc., etc. So those are part of the process of creation. But there are processes from different objects, like there's process for software development, there's process for construction, but actually this all follows one path, one pattern, that is the process of creation, following from the idea until the material world. How do you do that? So this is very connected to religion somehow, because as I mentioned before, ideas are delivered to several sources. So having an idea doesn't actually make you unique, and it doesn't actually makes you the owner of the idea, because a lot of people are receiving the idea probably first or maybe at the same time than you. But it's actually who makes the idea into the material world who actually matters. So that's why the process of creation is important, and you need to understand that having an idea is not only enough. There's other steps in order to bring your idea into the material world. And why do I say material world and spiritual world? Because I don't know what your idea is. I don't know. I'm talking about software most of the time, but maybe you are doing something bigger, and software development is not going to help you to create your idea. So that's why you need to understand this process of creation. This actually into the Kabbalah thing. If you want to know more about this, it's on the Zohar, and you can actually, find this information online. And it's very, very interesting, the process of creation and the seven worlds in the material world. How does it work? And once you get the idea and it's in your head, why do I say it's very connected to religion? And not because this is Kabbalah, but because who will be able to create the idea better? Probably the more disciplined person, because after the planning and after the action to create whatever idea you have, you will need some discipline and some resources in order to create this, and motivation. So how do you find the motivation? Probably with discipline. And who do you think is going to be more disciplined? A person with religion or a person without religion? And I'm not saying that it's impossible without religion, but it's just mathematics.